where we starting from. Dogs coming on a blitz, a nice pickup. Green gets rid of it and caught on the deflection. Put 6 on the board, Knight fans. That is a touchdown.
Haggerty is running hit and run, but it's right to Carter, who flips the second for one over to first in time for a double play to end the inning.
Hello.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the All New Sports Show. I'm Wes Bradshaw. He's Ed Green. That's how the people is.
Hi.
Hi, folks. We're coming to you from the war room of the luxurious All New Sports Show studios in an undisclosed location. We can't disclose everything, Ed.
No.
If we did that, they could find us.
We'd be the band Disclosure.
Oh, totes. All right, folks, we have a mage week in store for you.
Sure.
Are we going short words?
Sure.
Sure. Awesome. So welcome to Sports Center, Jace. Totally. Folks, second round of the state playoffs are in the books. We are down to 4 teams in our viewing area. Yeah, big congratulations. A week ago, you didn't have us on here, folks. We had Wesleyan football a week ago. All 8 of our area high school teams advancing out of the first round of the playoffs. First time I could ever really remember that happening around here, especially with so many of our teams in the playoffs. So congratulations on the week 1 wins for everyone.
Yes, absolutely.
That said, we got to week 2. Some things have changed. We got 4 teams that are done for the season. We got 4 still in it. We're going to tell you all about them as we come up. Folks, welcome to the show tonight. Special from Pine Tops, North Carolina.
Yes.
Raymond the Raven
He's a good one.
has made his way here. He's kind of an elder of the murder.
Yes, of the murder.
He's one who has been around, seen a lot, accomplished some extraordinary things. And today, Raymond the Raven is sitting in with us here on the All New Sports Show. Welcome, Raymond. Folks, real quick before we get started, I'm going to turn it over to Ed Green. He is going to put us over and tell you how you can get in touch with the All New Sports Show.
You'll see stuff on the bottom of the screen like right now. You're seeing our great sponsor, Rogers G. Taylor & Associates. You also see our other great social media links, though. You can find us, of course, on YouTube, as you see on the bottom right now, at The All New Sports Show. Find us on Twitter, at All New Sport Show. Find us on Facebook and Instagram, All New Sports Show. Email us, allnewsportsshow@gmail.com. Send your letters, parcels, and early Christmas gifts, no live animals, even dogs, to 1701 Sunset Avenue, Suite 201, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 27804. And, of course, please check out our podcast on njcsports.com, the iTunes Music Store, and podbean.com.
Do you like soccer? Doggone right you like soccer.
There, yes.
If you're one of the 100 people in the town. So
Yes.
anyway, if you like soccer, definitely check out the Foreign Affair
We love it.
podcast.
Very fun.
All right, those coming up for you today. We have Josh Wallfish from the Rocky Mount Telegram going to be calling, join in for us. Unfortunately, not able to get anyone from the Wilson Times. I guess they're very depressed. Well, Jimmy Lewis actually on assignment elsewhere, or else he would definitely be with us. So Jimmy should be back next week. We'll kind of wrap up Wilson County football next
That'll be
week.
fun. Yeah.
And we're going to talk. We are going to go through the 3 Wilson County games on the schedule. Also Southern Nash.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Thrown in there. But folks, we are going to start off. Ed and I, we're not doing a game of the week here in the playoffs, but we're kind of picking our own place to go. Last week it was Rocky Mount. You saw our interview with Forrest Bell and Jason Battle. This week we decided to head out to Pine Tops, and we got to see East Bladen come to town to take on the Southwest Edgecombe Cougars. Southwest, Ed, kind of shaky early in that football game. A little shaky.
Just a little bit.
The ball game opened with a kickoff return for a touchdown for East Bladen.
Which you turned to me and said, as the returner took it, I don't know why he did that.
That's dumb. He's dead.
And
whoops. 2 jukes later, and he's down the sideline. That ball game at one point was 14-13 after a missed Southwest extra point. And And then the next time the next time East Blaine got on the board, they were down 41-14.
Yeah, it was 28 unanswered for for Southwest Edgecombe over East Blaine. Really kicked it into gear in that second quarter with 15 unanswered there. But otherwise, I mean, Southwest Edgecombe only picked up 11 first downs. They didn't need to. I mean, they still ran for 346 yards. And this is something I think we'll talk about later on in the program, Wes. With who they might see later. This is the last team in the East really that really loves to pound the football, and that might give a lot of teams fits. But also Tucker Pridgeon on the night was 3 for 5, 35 yards. Also had one, I believe, that was maybe dropped in the end zone that he maybe should have been caught. Either way, we didn't have the best vantage point. But you also you're bringing back Quantella Snorwood, which is so great. I mean, he had a touchdown catch. From everything he's been through this year, to see him back, I mean, this is really a Southwest Edgecombe team that might end up being the best team in our area this year, depending on how some things shake out.
That's going to say a lot.
Yeah, because we have a lot of good teams.
Yeah.
Of the 4 teams that are left that are in the playoffs, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't floor me if we wake up next Saturday morning and all 4 of them are still alive. I'd be surprised, but not shocked.
And I almost wonder if Southwest may have the best road to the finals.
Depending on how things shake. Oh, to the finals?
To the finals.
Yes.
Depending
on how things shake out, Rocky Mount might have the best chance to win. But I think
Southwest may have the best road to the finals coming up, and that's not to take anything away from them, because they're going to play the 3 seed in the next round, and they probably had to play the 1 seed. But just the way Southwest is looking, and maybe the way that that number 1 seed looked last night may give them a little extra pep in their step going forward. We're going to talk about that before we finish this up, though. But for Southwest, it was, as it usually is for Southwest, it was the running game. Marvelous Marcus Williams.
He's so good.
He's that good. I know you've got his final numbers in front of you.
I sure do. He finished on the night with 18 rushes for 230 yards. And I'm going to quickly tally here 3 touchdown runs, including the opening score for them, which was a 55-yard run, which I think was pretty key. Even though they went on to win comfortably, I mean, this was an almost immediate response after East Blaine had taken in the opening kickoff. Marcus Williams has a big play of his own for them there. He added 2 more touchdowns. Keenan Williams also had a pair of touchdowns. So if your name was Williams, you did pretty good for Southwest.
And for Marcus Williams, he did it on the right night. As we saw down there, the running back coach from Appalachian State was in the house on the sideline watching
the Appalachian State running backs coach.
They call him Coach Holt.
Yeah.
We had a Coach Holt around here for a while.
What a coinky dink.
I think they might be related.
Maybe.
But anyway, he did it on the night where college scouts were in the house to see him. He has a huge game. Great night for Marcus. And he spearheaded that Southwest attack. As you said, Tucker Pridgeon, a guy who, let's just face it, they're not going to ask Tucker Pridgeon to throw the ball 20 times.
No, you hope not.
In a month. Tucker Pridgeon is going to have a limited number of attempts. They're going to do it off play action. He's not dropping in shotgun and looking to spread the field out.
Right.
If he does, he's probably handed to Marcus Williams. But when he gets his chances, here's the thing. In the past, we've seen Tucker Pridgeon, when he gets his chances, not make the most of them. Tucker Pridgeon made the most of his chances last night. As you said, 3 for 5, and one of those we thought had been caught in the end zone for a touchdown, and then it was incomplete. So to me, that was a drop.
Yeah.
So should have even had a better night than that. So that young man stepping up. Southwest, they're doing it with a patchwork offensive line. That's the other thing. We'll talk to John McCobbin a little bit about some injuries, but they've had some injuries. And, for a team that relies on that O-line to be able to run the ball as effectively as they do, the fact that they still wrapped up almost 350 yards of rushing behind a patchwork offensive line, I mean, what does that say?
What does that say about anything? It says that you flag them, and that's something that Southwest might want to work on a little bit. 7 penalties for 52 yards. Some of the more mental issues. We did see one. It almost happened right in front of us. One of the first big defensive plays of the game for Southwest Edgecombe. Young man comes up, takes the football, and spikes it into the ground.
Can't do that.
Goes about 30 feet in the air, and that's a penalty.
That's a penalty. But, for Southwest overall, now, very early in that game, it was penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty. It was on both sides. A lot of penalties. The game really cleaned up after about that first quarter.
No turnovers for Southwest. They had one fumble, but they didn't lose it.
That's right. They did well holding on to the football. Southwest is doing exactly what they have to do to win football games. Having solid special teams work. I don't think they punted maybe once last night.
Maybe.
And when it was punted, it was no field position really gained from it.
Right.
They're doing the things that they need to do to win the football game. They are an explosive offense, but they're not an explosive offense in the sense of we're going to line up 4 wide and throw it all over the field. They want to play their game, and if they can do that, a lot of other teams are going to have big time problems with them.
And you talk about defense. You talk about special teams. You talk about offense.
There's kind of a.
Who do we know that could fit all three of those?
There's a common denominator in all those.
I think there is.
Folks, there are certain players that we have an affinity for, and we want to find one who spits hot fire.
Yes.
That's one that we definitely gravitate to. Folks, that is why this week's player interview, we're going to introduce him once we get back out there. But, folks, you remember him from last year's All-New Big 22. He was your All-New Sports Show Defensive Player of the Year amongst our 12 teams that we cover. We thought he was the best defensive player in the area last year. Guess what? He's making a heck of a run to be it again this year. He wants to be a repeat winner. We'll see how that shakes out.
Guy at Rocky Mountain might have something to say about that. But we'll see.
Might have something to say, but we'll see. And definitely having another great season this year at Southwest Edgecombe. He is our player of the game. He was Dylan Hodges. Let's head out to Southwest Edgecombe and talk with Dylan Hodges. Folks, welcome you right now onto the field at Southwest Edgecombe High School. And folks, joining us for the first time, probably ever, I believe ever, the 2014 All-New Sports Show Defensive Player of the Year. He's finally making his debut on the show, Dylan Hodges. Dylan, big win for you guys tonight. Second round of the state playoffs. This is uncharted territory now for a lot of you guys on this football team. Just give us a quick rundown of the ball game. Early on, East Bladen was finding some running room, finding ways to score, and then you guys were able to lock it down.
Oh, yeah, we started off, man, penalties killed us. We pretty much shot ourselves in the foot. But we made adjustments, and we came out and started flying around hitting people, and it played out well for us.
Dylan, offensively, East Bladen, it somewhat reminded me of Tarboro. You guys playing them early in the season, obviously that's a huge football game around here. Did that experience of playing against that T backfield, did that help you guys tonight?
I think it did, honestly. We did very well against Tarboro, and we asserted our dominance against all the run teams we played, and I think tonight it really helped us.
Dylan, looking forward, once again, we said you guys, this is kind of uncharted territory for you guys. Did any nerves maybe creep in tonight? Is that a worry for you guys going forward?
I don't think so. It was just mental. We weren't really prepared to start with, but we made adjustments and we came out good.
Folks, he plays, let me get everything right. Play some middle linebacker, play a little fullback. We do the kicking. I might have seen you mixing Gatorade sometime during the game, but I can't guarantee that, folks. He is, as we said, folks, he's your 2014 All-New Sports Show Defensive Player of the Year, and he had another great football game tonight here on the field for Southwest Edgecombe. Dylan Hodges. Dylan, good luck to you guys heading forward.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Folks, that's going to do it for this week's player interview here on the All-New Sports Show.
Great interview.
Great interview. Big thanks to Dylan Hodges. Little comedic moment after the game. I said, Edward, bring me the one they call Dylan Hodges. Yes. And you came back with another young man. And
who was also in neon socks.
He was. I looked at him. I said, hey, how you doing? He said, I'm doing good.
With the name Dylan.
And I kind of walked up to you. I said, it's not Dylan Hodges, right?
Then when I actually saw his jersey number, I was like, no, it's not.
You were like,
anyway. He was made to be very elusive because someone who we will speak to later on in the show stole him.
Stole our interview. Oh, me oh my. Well, it all worked out for the best as we got a really good interview from him. Let's talk about that Southwest defense now.
He's very good.
Dylan Hodges, we heard his name a lot last night. He was in on a lot of tackles, but it is not just him. That front for Southwest, early on they were getting gashed. Needless to say, East Bladen came out. East Bladen lined up somewhat, as we talked with Dylan, in a T.
Yes.
Not quite. They didn't run quite what Tarboro ran out of that tee, but they were lining up in that tight formation with the three across the back. And early they had success. They ripped off some big early runs. As we said, just a very hectic, I say that was the word for Southwest, a very hectic start to the football game all around. But once they figured it out and once they calmed their nerves, everything just kind of came back in together and they started playing really good. And after that, East Bladen had all the trouble in the world trying to find running room on them. Hodges was leading the way, but the rest of that Southwest defense just played a fantastic game in building a 41-14 lead.
Certainly, and the thing you worry about, we'll say the same thing with Rocky Mount. You can't start slow against a better team. If they start slow against Fairmont, I don't know that they'll be able to get themselves back in the game. If they start slow in the Eastern Finals, I don't know if they'll be able to get back in the game. If they play, though, with the kind of intensity that they showed against East Bladen from the second to the fourth quarter, I think this is maybe the third best defense in our area, and that's big props because I think Hunt's is probably a little better, even though that offense didn't do much. I think that one's a little better, and I think Rocky Mounts is probably right on par there with them. Southwest Edgecombe is fantastic, though. I am just been very impressed.
Turbo fans are sitting there going, "Oh, hating on our defense." I agree. No hate. No, hey, you're in that group. It's just really good defense in this area this year.
Please don't take that as a slight.
A lot of teams have really good defenses. Some
not so much. But I think that this is a Southwest Edgecombe team that if they can play a complete game with the way their defense is right now, the way they hit, and with the athleticism they have. I don't see why they couldn't make an Eastern Finals trip.
Well, and a big thing, too, is, for Southwest, you talk about the slow start, you can't do it against good teams. Here's the thing. The Southwest offense is completely built to play from in front.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
If you get down, and the only time this year they have not been able to keep it within a score and play in front was Washington, and it all went bad that day. Now, that was just... from everything I've heard, that was just a conglomerate of everything just went horrible on this one day.
As we'll mention later in the show, not that we know, but it was general disarray. No, actually, we mentioned that in the... Never mind. This day has been a blur already. Anyway.
We might have to bring that back up in a minute.
Speaking, though, of someone who is not in general disarray.
No.
It's head coach Jonathan
or Professor
Cobb.
Chaos.
And he is guiding this team, trying to bring Southwest to their first trip to the Eastern Finals. And he talked with you after the game.
That he did. And, we have not seen Coach Cobb since early in the season. When we did a couple of Southwest games earlier this year. And, still got the beard. Yep. Still looking fantastic. And looking even better because he's heading to the third round. Let's head back to Southwest Edgecombe and talk with Cougar head coach Jonathan Cobb. Hey, folks, welcome you back here on the all-new sports show, Coach's Corner. Joining us, victorious head coach, Southwest Edgecombe Cougars, Jonathan Cobb. Coach, tonight, East Bladen, you guys are 2 seed, they're the 7 seed. Stands were packed, people were excited. And suddenly that opening kickoff happened. And then suddenly they got the ball and they started running it against you guys. I don't think anyone was expecting too much of that. You got punched in the mouth early, but then your guys absolutely responded.
Yeah, on that kickoff return, that's one of their better players that I think had been injured a lot of the season, and he made a great run. We didn't flinch. That's football. Oftentimes the first 3-4 minutes of the game don't necessarily dictate the outcome, or certainly didn't tonight. And I'm proud of my players. They did what we've been doing lately and all season long, and slowly and methodically, took over and asserted our will.
Marcus Williams was Marcus Williams tonight. Big first half, put you guys on his back. This is a kid who, and I'm not trying to jinx anyone here. He has dealt with injury problems through his high school career. This season has been able to stay healthy and has finally been the football player that everyone figured and thought he could be. Just talk about him a little bit in his season.
Great player, great kid. We're blessed to have talent here like he possesses. He's been banged up a lot this season and really played through it, which I'm very proud of him for. And it says a lot about how much he cares about Southwest football and his teammates. And he's a captain, he's a leader. But last week he gave the pregame speech. I walked in and said amen because I couldn't have given one any better. And just proud of him tonight. Had a great night, and certainly he has a pretty good offensive line in front of him. So,
absolutely. And Coach, as you get ready now to head coach your first day after Thanksgiving game, we talked about him being a little banged up. Let's talk about the health of your football team, where you guys are. Coming into the game tonight, you were still down a few of your important players. Any chance we get some back next Friday?
We very well might. I think there's a chance we might get a couple of linemen back next week. Actually, that have been out for quite some time. We're out through the entire conference season, and we didn't necessarily anticipate that we would get them back, but they'll probably start practicing this week. Lost last week a good outside linebacker, Raekwon White. He really had a lot of production there for us, and he's still waiting on some test results. And then we certainly have some players that we wish we could get back, but are watching from the sidelines probably for the rest of the year.
And Coach, once again, talk about that day after Thanksgiving game. That's always been kind of a benchmark for every team. If you're practicing on Thanksgiving morning, that means you've had a really good season. You remember we talked earlier this year. It was really warm outside. We went in the office, had the air conditioning going. Man, it was hot. And we were talking about then that this had potential to be a special season for you guys. Just real quick, give us your thoughts now going into the third round on how this season has progressed for you.
Well, I tell you, Wes, actually last year we lost in the third round to Elizabeth City Northeastern, and after a pretty good season, and I've got a group of 23 seniors who set a goal back in the preseason, and when we talked about what we wanted our goals to be, and goal one was to win a third round playoff game. Because that's something Southwest Edgecombe has never done. In recent history, we've been to the third round 3 times, twice on this field, and then last year at Elizabeth City. And so we have another opportunity next week to get that monkey off our back and progress to an Eastern final, and that's our goal. And we're going to do everything in our power, to try to make that happen. We're excited about it.
Coach, of course, you have the support of the All New Sports Show and our millions of loyal followers at home. Coach, we thank you so much for taking a few minutes with us tonight. Once again, congratulations on the big win and good luck going forward.
Thank you, Wes.
This has been this week's Coach's Corner with Southwest Edgecombe head coach Jonathan Cobb.
Great interview, Jonathan Cobb.
Great interview, Jonathan Cobb. Big thanks to him. Talked to Jonathan a little bit after the interview. He asked us who the Raven was going to be this week, and so we
told him we had to bring in Raven.
We told him we were bringing in Raymond, the legendary Raven.
Oh, he's the elder statesman of the Ravens.
He is the great one. He's won a lot of winning over the years from Raymond. Okay. All right, so Southwest Edgecombe heading on. They will be playing Fairmont.
Yes.
Next round. We'll get to that a little later in the show. Also, we're going to let Josh Wallfish kind of wrap up a few things with Southwest when we do get on the phone with him. So look forward to that coming up here in a few minutes. This is usually the time Jimmy Lewis joins us from the Wilson Times. Unfortunately, Jimmy in transit today. He's doing actual work. So Jimmy unable to join us today, folks. So we're going to kind of run you down everything that went on in Wilson County last night, as well as Southern Nash. Let's put it this way. Wilson County began the night with 3 teams in the playoffs. Wilson County is now playing basketball. Bedingfield took the trip to Clinton. We thought that was going to be a little too much for them. It turns out it was. Clinton finally does something against the Bedingfield defense. They give up 335 yards rushing, another 85 passing, and the Clinton Dark Horses have defeated Bedingfield, but they had a lot of credit to Bedingfield this year.
Absolutely.
Eastern Plains Conference co-champions. After a rough start in the non-conference, they came in, went 4-1 in conference, and we give them a lot of credit.
A lot of close losses in that non-con too. It could have been even better. Maybe it would have gotten them a home playoff game in the second round, but still a fantastic season for Tyrone Johnson and the Bedingfield Bruins. Clinton scores 22 in the first quarter, and that was basically all she wrote.
Kind of out of it.
Good for them coming back. I mean, they played them much better the rest of the way, but
kind of have it quick. So we'll see what that leads to in 2016 for Bedingfield. Southern Nash. Let's talk about the Firebirds. Southern with maybe the win of the first round a week ago.
That was huge.
They go for 2 late against West Craven. They get the huge 22-21 win. So what do they get rewarded with? A trip to Eastern Alamance to take on the number 1 overall seed in the 3A. That was a trip too far. 35-20 ends the season for the Firebirds. And, going to this game, we thought Southern had a chance, especially with their playmakers, guys like Jaquay Mitchell, Taj Deans, Flash, Thompson. At the end of the day, though, I still think a few too many mistakes from Southern Nash. Something that's been the plague of Southern Nash football really forever, is just too many mistakes at too many inopportune times.
Certainly, and Jaquay Mitchell still with 2 touchdowns on the night, but it's unfortunate that Southern Nash's season ends this way. We talked about the absolute brutal road they'd have to go to a state final, and it was just too tough for them. But I think just like Bedingfield, nothing really to hang their heads about this season. It was a good season. Could have been better. Could have been a lot worse. And this is a team that this group will always have that remarkable win at West Craven. That's something that these young men can take with them very far.
And Ed, I just want to know, when is the next time a pass will be thrown at Southern Nash? Zach Foster graduating, Taj Dean's on his way out. Is the Southern Nash air raid?
No.
Because I've never seen him throw until the last 2 years. So I don't know the next time we'll see the spread
I'm
at
sure
Southern.
when we talk to Brian Foster next year.
Yeah, we're going to find out. That's going to be question number 1. So, you throwing the ball this year?
Nope.
What's that old saying? Nope. All right, so Southern ends their season.
Speaking of nope, did Pike beat Southern Guilford?
Nope.
Did they score against Southern Guilford?
Nope.
Sorry.
Did they show up really against Southern Guilford?
They outrushed them. 138-109. Southern Guilford put up 255 yards of passing. And again, this is a team that they were able to take on a depleted team last week, get a good win on the road, but Southern Guilford was just going to be too much every time.
And the thing is, Southern Guilford, a team a year ago, this team that in this same round knocked Rocky Mount out of the playoffs, and they did it on the back of a running back who actually went to NC State. They were a running team a year ago. Shoot, they threw for 255 against Fike. So that's a program that's been able to adapt and adjust. Ed, to me, that's second quarter, 32 second quarter points. That was basically the ball game. Just the Fike defense.
It wasn't very good at all.
It never came around.
No, it tried to go around, and it didn't really work out. It got kind of batted away a lot of times by opposing offenses. And this is something that we saw flashes of it, but also a lot was just put on the back of DJ Daniels. He throws 2 interceptions in the game. That's always going to be tough. Only goes 3 of 12. Does a lot with his legs, but just not able to get enough going with his arm to combat Southern Guilford. And this is a season, if you're Tom Nelson, you just got to rebuild for next year. A very big struggle this year after 2 quality seasons.
And that's going to be the thing for next year, because your 2 biggest players, really, DJ Daniels, AJ Hines, who have been so big for so long for you at Fike, they're graduating. They've had great careers, but now Fike gonna have to kind of start over.
Yeah.
And we'll see what they can do in the future going on.
Get a clean shave and start.
That's right.
There you go. So lastly, Hunt went down to Fayetteville to try and take on Terry Sanford, and the defense showed up, only give up 17 points. Unfortunately, the offense only gets 3 yards passing. Jacob Williamson, 1 of 12 on the night with 1 interception. His counterpart goes 18 of 24, but only threw for 150 yards. So, this is, again, a team.
It was a big-time defensive struggle, defensive football game. 17-3 final. Hunt's only points coming off an Oriana field goal in the first quarter. So they did have a lead in there. For Hunt, it was a season where the defense The defense did their job,
Yeah,
without
absolutely.
a doubt. The defense was fantastic this year. Offensively, I just think they were a little bereft of playmakers. Jacob Williamson is a much better quarterback, I think, than we saw this year. Last year, the year before, he had receivers. They had a dynamic running game, and they really were able to move the football. This year, it was just a little too much on Darius Barnes having to shoulder the running game. And we just never really saw the development of an explosive offense from Hunt. But I thought it was a good season from the Warriors. I thought the Warriors would go down to Terry Sanford and have a chance, and they did. I mean, 17-3, it was 10-3.
Yeah, that.
Kind of late in that football game, and just not enough at the end of the day.
No,
for
really
Hunt to
wasn't.
get it done,
But still a good season for Stevie Hennett. And we'll be talking to all these teams next July when we get ready for the 2016 season. But for now, we take a commercial break.
That's right. We will take a quick commercial break, folks. When we come back, your most exciting minute of the week. Josh Wallfish from the Rocky Mountain Telegram. We're going to break down the third round of the state playoffs coming up, and we're going to talk a little battling Bishop's football for the postseason. Folks, this is the All New Sports Show brought to you each and every week by Roger G. Taylor and Associates. We'll be right back after this commercial break on WHIG TV.
The new place is perfect, or at least it will be, with a little help from Dex. In the book or at DexKnows.com. Dex can help you get results fast and deliver the best local advice so you can get it done right. Right here, right now.
We should do this more often.
Dex, results for the here and now.
The WHIG TV karaoke show is moving to an all-new night, Tuesdays at 9:30. Catch all your favorite singers from Zaxby's every Tuesday at 9:30 and Saturday at 9:30, only on WHIG TV.
And welcome everyone back to the All New Sports Show brought each and every week by Roger G. Taylor and Associates. All right, folks, the break is in the book. It is now time for your most exciting minute of the week.
It's very important.
Even though I don't have a final for it yet, it is time for 60 seconds of soccer.
The team who came back from the dead.
Oh, it's a great graphic.
Oh, majestic Jurgen.
It's a really, really great graphic.
We play heavy metal football. I love it.
I know you do.
All right, Ed, minute on the clock.
Yeah.
And here we go. All right, folks.
Plausibly a minute.
At the time, folks, as you know, this show plausibly live.
Plausibly.
So at the time of this, I don't have your Liverpool Man City final, but coming off the 2-week break for the internationals, Liverpool are getting healthy finally. That's a big thing because they're hitting the point of the season where it's going to be a lot of games coming up.
Yes.
The schedule becomes packed, and Liverpool are going to need these guys. Jordan Henderson, Daniel Sturridge, Sacco could be back soon. And they're going to need these bodies going forward. I'm still optimistic. And that's the big thing in life.
We're playing. We played 9 hours ago, I assume, and assuming everything went well.
Congratulations.
I hope so.
All right.
In a London derby against West Ham, we'll have to see how it turned out. I love how our team's playing though.
Don't worry, they only beat the big teams.
Yes, West Ham's a big team this year.
I was talking about
All
West
they had to
Ham.
do was get rid.
I was talking about West Ham only beats the big team.
Oh, okay.
You should have done
Well,
that.
thank you. Thank
I'll do what I
you.
can.
Thank you for calling us a big team. So,
I'm saying you probably beat them,
yeah, it's true.
but they only beat the big teams.
It's a paradox.
It was a shot at you, basically, is where we were going.
I'm not taking it as a shot.
All right, so that is it, folks. Your most exciting of the week. Guess what? Next week, we promise to make it more exciting. All right, Ed.
Game's talking about.
We've talked about the foot. Now back to the foot.
Yes.
Joining us from the Rocky Mountain Telegram, a gentleman we got to talk to a lot last night, that Southwest Edgecombe game.
Yes.
Mr. Josh Wallfish. Josh, welcome back to the All New Sports Show.
Always a pleasure to be here, guys.
Well, it's always our pleasure to have you. Thank you, our friend. Josh, real quick, we've talked about the Southwest game. We're going to give you about 90 seconds to wrap up real quick. Give us your analysis on Southwest going into that ball game and coming out of that ball game, how they're looking for this playoff run.
One of the things that I've talked with John Takal about a lot this season is that just a very undersized athletic defense, yet somehow they're able to handle and shut down power running games. Whether it be Tarboro, whether it be North Edgecombe, whether it be Farmville Central, whether it be last night against East Clayton, this defense really plays bigger than they actually are. And that's been a huge difference for them moving forward to the third round against the second consecutive year. Now they get a chance to showcase their athleticism. They're going to face a Fairmont team that likes to throw the football around, that's going to put them into spread formation. So this is a defense well equipped to handle the spread. So let's see if they're prepared for what Fairmont's going to bring to them next week in Pine Top.
That's to be interesting to watch. Everything getting bigger here in the third round. All right, Josh, let's slide on over now to Rocky Mount. The Griffons last night, they host South Johnston, a team that on paper was built to handle Rocky Mount. They're a spread team. The book on Rocky Mount is this year, they can stop the run. They can't stop the pass. Well, they did pretty well intercepting South Johnston 3 times last night. Let's just talk a little bit about Rocky Mount now. Back in the third round for the first time since 2008. Where is this team right now? Kind of like we said about Southwest, where are they right now going into the third round?
The one thing that the Griffons said is, I think, a little bit concerning to Coach Battle, and the rest of the team. They've played very well in the second half, but they've gone off to a couple of sluggish starts. And it really didn't hurt them against Northern Nash. It really didn't hurt them against Burlington Williams. And it really didn't hurt them against South Johnston. But at some point in the playoffs, whether it be next week when they host Eden Moorhead, whether it be the week after where they're potentially going out to Alamance, County to face Eastern Alamance, they're not going to be able to get off to such a slow start and survive it. So that I think is a issue for concern. But at the same time, I think one of the big things, and we saw this last night, is when you don't have a receiver like Cornell Powell, Rocky Mount's going to be decent against the pass. Yes, they're going to give up some yardage because they're not used to doing the pass a lot. When you don't have that dominant receiver like Rose had with Cornell Powell, the Griffons have a lot of athletes on defense. They're going to be able to make plays as they did last night.
And Josh, let's just take a quick preview now. One of the shocking upsets, I think, of the entire NCHSAA state playoffs so far, number 10 Moorhead going on the road and beating number 2 Havelock by a touchdown. Many people thought maybe Havelock the actual best team in 3A, and they are going down.
One of them.
There you go. So Rocky Mount gets maybe a surprise home game. Quickly preview the Griffons' next round matchup.
Yeah, well, we talked about passing, and that's what they're going to have to do. Moorhead's going to split the ball out. They've built for almost 3,000 yards. They've barely ran for about 1,000, about 1,200. So this is going to play football in this Rocky Mount. Now, again, we talked about not having that dominant receiver. Their 2 leading receivers are 5'9" and 5'8". So quick, fast receivers are going to try to test the Griffons with short roll passes, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, kind of what the Patriots have done so successfully for so long in the National Football League. So it's going to be on players like Darren Parker to really step up and force Eden Moorhead quarterback to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. Let players like Arcadia Christensen, like Alex Henderson, like Sherrod Green, get to the quarterback and really make a difference that way. Because this isn't going to be one of those games where Sherrod Green and those defensive linemen are going to be able to stop the run and really kind of force things to pass on them. This is a team that likes to pass, and so I'll be curious to see what Rocky Mount comes up with in terms of trying to get their playmakers involved defensively.
Talking about playmakers, we're going to segue over now. A team that is absolutely stacked full of them, and that'll be there for a while. Let's talk about the Tarboro Vikings, who are back in the third round, which that's, for Tarboro lately, it's kind of been, all right, third round, that's where the season starts. Last few years, ever since coming to 1A, Tarboro was supposed to be the team to come in and dominate 1A football. Unfortunately, there were two teams in 1A football that were already really dominant. They're called Wallace Rose Hill and James Keenan. And Tarboro has ended their season against one of those teams every year since they've been down in 1A. This year, another matchup with James Keenan, this time Keenan coming to Tarboro. Personally, Josh, I said this to a few people last night, Ed included. I truly believe Tarboro is a year away from hitting their potential. But that said, they're going to go in on Friday night with every chance in the world to win and advance. Break down a little bit this upcoming matchup, James Keenan heading to Tarboro, which is a massive matchup here in the East.
It definitely is. So let's go back to last year. That was the game that Jeff Craddock, at the end of it, was disappointed not to win. He saw that the opportunity was there for them to go to Warsaw and knock off James Keenan and get the Eastern Regional Final against Wallace Rose Hill. And they kind of let it slip away from them. And for the first time since they moved down to 1A, they get one of these guys in their house. They have to make the trip to Edgecombe County. And that's going to be A, a motivating factor for the Vikings. But B, it's going to make a big difference. This is a better Tarboro team than the one last year. They have a lot more talent. I agree with you that they're probably a year away from hitting their true potential. But that doesn't mean that they're not talented now. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that they can't go out and beat James Keenan next week. And I think they will do that. Now, Grant, what will they do in 2 weeks if they get through James Keenan when they have to go to Wallace Rose Hill? That we can worry about next week. But there's a lot of motivating factors. The team that is playing its best football this season right now. Since that loss to Southwest Edgecombe, they have been absolutely dominating teams. They've been motivated. They have been disciplined. It's back to those Tarboro Vikings teams that continuously went to a title game. So I like the chance against James Keenan. It's going to be a great matchup, obviously. Two very contrasting styles, but I feel like there are more athletes on Tarboro's defense this year that are going to be able to match up with James Keenan, and they'll be able to pull out the close one at home.
And Josh, speaking of a team who's really gotten on a roll here, all of a sudden that would be the North Edgecombe Warriors, winners on the road for the second straight week.
It's nice to get out of that brutal conference, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to get a guy named Antoine Pittman back.
That's probably the bigger thing. They get a 32-24 road win against number 3 Weldon, and now they were very close. They were very close to having to go to Northampton County, a team that they very narrowly lost to without Antoine Pittman in conference. They are going to have to go to Southside. Southside squeaked by Northampton County 40-36. But this is clearly, Josh, a different North Edgecombe team with Antoine Pittman in. Where do you rate their chances going up against number 2 Southside?
Well, I think it's very good. You look at what Northampton County did in Southside. I think, North Edgecombe could go in there and do the exact same thing. Now, obviously, this is a rematch of the second round last year that Southside and North Edgecombe put up a ton of points because neither team could stop one another. And Southside came through with the close victory there despite Antoine Pittman rolling for 200 some odd yards to touchdown. So, again, Southside's going to focus in on Antoine Pittman, but don't be afraid for your fans. I'm on lines and with the back, and I don't know if Southside has the talent to really handle both of them when they don't know what's coming. But, if you talk about how close Northampton was, they had the ball on the 2-yard line with 30 seconds left with a chance to win the football game and fumbled away. That's how close Northampton was to getting the rematch with Northampton. And I think now that the Warriors are healthier, I think there have been a couple of key changes Keith Ferris has made. Mainly, he's basically going to go up. He told me last night, we're playing the best 11 players on the field, offensively and defensively. They're not worried about fatigue. They're not worried about being tired. They're trying to just win football games and lay it all out on the line. That's making a big difference for the Warriors defensively. So I think they're going to do a defensive effort. And I said this 2 weeks ago, I am fully convinced for a bench help. Now that they're healthy, they're going to get some opportunities in the final by upsetting Southside next week.
Well, Josh, man, we thank you so much for hopping on with us this week for this episode of the All New Sports Show.
We brought him on because he's the only one that had teams win.
That's right.
Unlike the Wilson Daily Times.
That's right. Oh, that's a shot.
I'm just saying, it's the truth.
Josh, of course, you will be back once again on the sidelines at Pine Tops this Friday night. I don't think Jonathan Cobb would have it any differently at this point. Yes. Definitely look forward to seeing your game report from the Southwest Edgecombe Fairmont ball game. And Josh, we hope you have a great Thanksgiving week coming up.
And don't worry, Twin County fans. Nothing is changing in terms of our coverage. Justin's back at Tarbo, Officer's back at Rocky Mount. I'm back in Pine Top. Don't worry, we're all going to win.
No one's going to Southside.
No one's going to Southside. Sorry.
We'll go to Southside.
Have fun. Have fun.
That's what I thought.
Thanks, Josh, we'll talk to you, buddy.
Oh, we love
you have all the fun you want at Southside. Okay.
That's what I thought.
All right, those been thanks to Josh Wallfish of the Rocky Mountain Telegram hopping on with us. We talked about those. Let's take a look now at those brackets as they go. We are going to start. We're going to start at the smallest and work our way
bottom.
Up.
Now we're here.
Yeah, just like Drake said.
Just like Drake. I think Drake is now wearing a Southwest Edgecombe hat.
I bet he's got a Southwest Edgecombe hat.
And
he's probably got a Tarboro sweatshirt. He's got a Rocky
Mount. He's got the Rocky Mount gym shorts.
He's got the Rocky Mount gym shorts, and he's even rocking a North Edgecombe bandana somewhere, I'm sure, in his back pocket.
I got to be there.
So, it could be some wristbands.
There you go.
Whatever you want to do.
I like wristbands. Cool.
Well, whatever it is, Drake is decked out for Edgecombe County and Rocky Mount.
Yes, he is.
He's Drake.
That's what he do.
Don't love him, but anyway. No. All right, let's start in the 1A. Yeah. Ed, let's just take a look at the Final Four in the East overall. Let's start with North Edgecombe being our local team.
North Edgecombe, the number 11 seed. They will be going to number 2 Southside on the top half of that bracket. Number 1 Plymouth, who has given up a total of 13 points in their first 2 games. They are and has scored after some quick math 104.
The overwhelming 1A favorite in the East is Plymouth, as they have been for about half a decade now.
Not even close. They are going to welcome number 4 seed South Creek. And so we'll see.
South Creek, a huge turnaround. They've had some winless seasons in their last in the last 5-6 years, and to see them here in the Eastern semifinals, that's big time for that program.
Certainly. Back to the 1AA side now. James Keenan, the 3 seed, will be heading to Tarboro. That is your 2-3 matchup, and it's going to be a barn burner. We will be there, I think.
Maybe.
That was the plan.
That was the plan, but now things have changed. We have decisions to make because Wes is an unabashed homer for the Capstone.
It's true.
If you watch this show, you know by now, folks. So,
all right.
I love you all, though.
On the top half, Wallace Rose Hill, as we mentioned, another unabashed favorite, although they might be a little tighter. Just a little bit.
Oh, I think that's definitely a more competitive division. And if you look at that 1AA East, every game is held to form.
Yeah.
No upsets. Every favorite has won.
Very boring.
Very boring.
Very boring. And that's why East Carteret, the number 4 seed, is going to be going to Wallace Rose Hill. Just checking out the West side. The West side is mostly
it's the best side.
Is mostly chalk, except for Walkertown, their 10 seed. They've advanced to the Final Four in the West. So that we'll see how they do against East Surrey.
Surrey?
Surrey.
Surrey?
Surrey.
Sounds like some other football we watch.
Yeah. Sorry. In the 2A, that's the only one we have 2 now. They're walking very fast. Fairmont will be traveling to Southwest Edgecombe. That is a 2-3 matchup. Fairmont has also been dominating teams. They beat South Columbus last week 44-6. Out of the top half, Kinston just squeaking by Aiden Grifton by 18-14. And I believe they actually had to come back to win that game.
Well, they did, and I believe Kinston was actually kind of the unabashed favorite to win to win that bracket. And suddenly it's like, ooh, wait a minute, what just happened here? So, Kinston got a little scare last night, and it'll be interesting to see how they come back because they have been a team they've dominated a lot of teams this year.
Certainly.
Very good football team.
They'll be going up against Northeastern. in the 1-4 game.
And that is a fantastic Final Four in the 2A East.
really
I mean,
good.
you've got the power of Southwest, and then you've got three teams who love to spread the ball around and throw it. Southwest is kind of they're sitting there as we're the only team who does this, and that can cause a lot of problems for teams.
That's true. Tucker Pridgeon, though, hasn't been too bad in the playoffs.
Has not. Tucker Pridgeon has taken advantage of the opportunities he's been given.
1, 3, 4, and 7 left in the West.
1, 3, 4, and 7. That is Jeffins.
Nothing to do with
I
anything.
believe that was Bobby F. Bobby Fur. Firmino.
Oh, no, I think it was the other one. The other Brazilian. Anyway, you don't know what we're talking about. It's fine.
No, it's frozen.
Extended
Thanks, America.
No, thanks. Thanks, CenturyLink. Rocky Mount will be hosting Moorhead in 3A. That is quite amazing. That is your 3-10 game.
And just the thing is, here's the deal: you can't, Rocky Mount fans. This is an inevitable feeling that you get when you have what you perceive as this juggernaut ahead of you, and suddenly they're out. Oh God! I got a text this morning. So Rocky Mount's going to the state title game now. Hold on.
Hold your horses.
Even if you get past this one, there's still a couple teams called Eastern Alamance, and don't forget Southern Guilford's the one who demolished Rocky Mount last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And just as we talked about earlier, absolutely murdered Fike.
Yes, they did. They've won their 2 combined games now, 96-3.
The 2 Big East teams that we talked about earlier, they'll tell you that those are 2 good football teams. So, but with Rocky Mount, the opportunities there now, they do get a home game here in the.
And hey, if Southern Guilford pulls off the upset, and Rocky Mount holds,
Rocky Mount could stay home throughout the entire playoffs. We'll update y'all on why I look so bleedingly gutted at the moment, but
as far as
we'll tell y'all next week.
As far as the West has gone into disrepair. Kings Mountain versus High Brighton. That's an 8-12 matchup in one set, and in the other set, it's West Rowan. They are a 6 seed versus South Point, the 2. So it's 2-6, 8-12 in the West. So there's a chance. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Ed, you do remember there was a one of my favorite South Park episodes ever. There was a gentleman called Professor Chaos.
Yes.
Professor Chaos. And his sidekick was General Disarray. That is the West right now in 3A. It's crazy.
South Point's title to lose.
Oh, South Point. That'll become the Braxton Hill Bowl at that point.
Ooh. Interesting. So those are your final playoff matchups. We'll give you a very
and real quick 4A, just to throw this out because they're obviously the cousins of the all new sports show.
Yes.
Little Pitt County Derby going on this weekend in what I believe could become the biggest football game in Pitt County history. Yeah. Little team called Rose, a little team called D.H. Conley playing in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Ed, you have a little insight on this rivalry.
Okay.
Of course, now you went to the little brother to both schools.
I did spend 1 year at Rose.
You did spend a year at Rose.
Worst year of my life. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Ed, you've been doing this show for 5. I mean, that could be worse. I'll just give you multiple terrible years.
Yes.
Just real quick, you've been in Pitt County. I've been in Pitt County. This is going to be massive because there's a thing between Conley and Rose. They truly don't like each other.
Despising they're going through right now.
It's not one of those kind of friendly rivalries. This is, we really hate you.
No, they do. The entire county, just everybody hates each other for various reasons. Everybody hates Rose because, as someone put on our Facebook the other day, they are basically Notre Dame, and it's annoying.
And that was a Rose alumni who was basically pushing that Rose should go independent because they are Notre Dame.
Anyway.
That was Steve Logan's kid, by the way.
That makes so much sense.
Love you, Nate.
Conley, it feels a little disrespected. And Conley is actually going to be the home team because they are the higher seed. So it's going to be fascinating. If we weren't going to it, I might actually make the trip to Greenville to go see that game because that
if we didn't have 3 of our own home games to choose from, I think I would go to because it's probably closer than most of my home games.
Hey, maybe in 2 years it will be a home game.
Oh, you never know. And if you've ever been to Conley Stadium, let's just put it this way, folks. If you do decide you want to go to that matchup, go early.
Yeah.
There's not a massive amount of seating at Conley. There's a lot of standing room, and that probably will be where you end up.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be packed.
So let's quickly go through. Let's update the Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack.
Absolutely, because it was a week of Invincibles.
Yes, it was.
Starting with Invincible number 1.
Oh, we did go 6-0. Oh, we're just gonna stop. Let's go back. What do you say? Look at that. Wes Bradshaw, so happy. He wins 6-0, just like we said. So now the overall's not right on there, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. We'll see what his record is in a second. But he went 6-0. Tony Dowdy also went 6-0. He is 56-16 on the season. I went 6-0. I'm 58-14 with
top of the table.
15. Oh, I'm top of the table.
Top of the table.
And our good friend Clint Williams. The only one who didn't go 6-0.
Is he still here?
I don't know. 4-2. He missed Southern Nash beating the Eastern Elements and Bettingfield beating our greatest living president, Clinton. In the standings, so here are your overall standings.
We don't have many living presidents left.
And this is the interesting point. This is the first week now we're going into where really it all could end.
Yeah.
If all 4 teams lose, God hope we don't want that, but if it does, that's it.
Over.
So I currently lead. You're 1 back, Tony's 2 back, and Clint is Clint.
Yeah, Clint is bringing up the Clint position.
Yes, he is.
If we had anyone to relegate him with, we might do it.
Absolutely.
But
so
we don't.
Quick Bishop's Corner. Big shout outs to
absolutely Bishop's football, as you saw last week in this time slot, came to a conclusion for the season. Big win for those guys. We kind of said it going into that part of the season. This is the team that's probably going to make a run at the end of the season and end up with a good record. And they did. Their schedule was extremely front-loaded. But here in the postseason, they are getting some notoriety, which we felt they should.
Yep, Malik Adams, he wins an award, as well as Bring Me the One They Call Menondo. Malik Adams was the league's Offensive Player of the Year. This is the second straight year Battling Bishop has won the award. Of course, Jay Alston did it last year.
Malik Adams is fantastic.
Adrian Menondo, the USA South Offensive Rookie of the Year. He led all rookies in rushing, averaged 93 yards a game, and scored 11 touchdowns. And this was in limited work.
About 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, so
about 4 or 5 games. So man, we got this really good player.
Good for the one they called Menondo. So that'll do it for Bishop's football for the year. That puts a nice little cap on it. We will see you in 2016. Wes, let us end our show with. Do you have tabs ready?
No, I didn't think we were that far yet. Don't we have anything else we can talk about for a second?
Nope, there's no Todd Gurley update.
We can make something up.
Todd Gurley ran for 187 yards and 3 touchdowns in their win against whoever they played.
My fantasy team loves him for this because, it's awesome. So, Ed, Raymond the Raven, of course. This week, the Raven, in honor of...
a good friend of the show.
Good friend of the show.
As you saw earlier in the show.
Exactly. We talked about that for a second. So Thanksgiving coming up this week.
Yep.
Get your turkey.
There you go.
Friday, go watch your football.
Just keep looking at that phone.
Yep, still working on it. And, okay. Ed.
Yes. Hand over heart.
It is the time of the week where we say goodbye to some fine high school football teams. Wilson Fike, Wilson Bettingfield, Wilson Hunt, Southern Nash,
All right,
gentlemen, you're in our hearts.
Yep. See you in 2016.
And we'll see you in 2016.
4 games this Friday. Pick them out. Go to one. Everybody go to one.
Everybody.
If you're a Northern fan, go pull against Rocky
If you're a doctor supposed to work Friday night at the hospital,
doesn't matter.
it.
Cancel
go to the football
surgeries.
game.
Done.
Nurses, paramedics, policemen.
Actually,
anarchy. We go to the game.
Tarboro might like if a paramedic goes to their football game.
That would help.
Yes.
We're not going there, though, are we?
So that'll do it for us, though.
Ed, put us over.
At All New Sports Show, Facebook, All New Sports Show, Instagram, Periscope, YouTube, The All New Sports Show, email us, allnewsportsshow@gmail.com. Check out the pod. You've seen it on the bottom of the screen.
You are?
I'm at Edward Green.
I'm at Wes Bradshaw 21, and folks, that is going to wrap it up for us this week from the War Room here at the All New Sports Show Studios.
Yes.
In lovely Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Big thanks to Raymond the Raven making his way in. It's getting chilly for the Ravens.
It is, a little
it's
bit.
going to be very, very chilly Monday, folks. Bundle up before you go to work. This is not going to be it will be a glorious looking day. Great week coming up. Friday night's supposed to be much like this past Friday. It's going to get a little cool, but it's not going to be bone-chillingly cold, folks. Great week for football. He's Zach Green. I'm Wes Bradshaw. For our one-name producer, Lee, he runs the board. We would like to thank everyone for tuning into this episode of the all-new sports show. We will be back next week for our post-Thanksgiving edition. You'll get it all right here on WHIG TV. Big thanks, of course, to Roger G. Taylor and Associates. Good night, America.
Good night, playoff teams.
Go Liverpool.